Welcome to this week's Tech Tip Tuesday about learning to code. My name's Tom, and I work in the Digital Access and Family History team at the library. I'm a librarian, not a programmer, and I've only been learning to code over the last 6 months. So I'm no expert, just a curious amateur. In this video, I'm not going to show you any code, just going to share a few tips and resources that I found helpful along my journey. The first thing I'd like to talk about is something that I found difficult, which is where to begin. There are dozens of different coding languages, all designed for specific environments and purposes. For someone not familiar with looking at code, the syntax and structure can feel intimidating and indecipherable. It's easy to get lost, and I know from experience. I've tried learning to code a number of times, watching videos, working through online tutorials. Each time was a false start. After weeks, I lost my momentum, and when I finally regained my courage and enthusiasm, I was back at square one, remembering little of what I'd learned. My coding didn't really get going until I had a project and a problem that I was working on and trying to solve. So the first step, find a project. With a project, you learn coding skills along the way. It's satisfying, more interesting, and you're learning coding in context, which helps you retain and understand more of what you learn. Once you've got a project, the next step is knowing where and how to discover the information to help solve your problem. Online courses and videos are a great resource. I often don't complete a whole course, but dip in and out of the parts that are relevant to what I'm working on. There are lots of free videos as well as paid platforms. Some of the paid platforms are collaborations with universities or have partnerships with industry to develop their content, and their style and structure reflect these arrangements. Others are popular because they have interactive tutorials, so you can learn the basics and practice coding within your browser without additional programs. Many of the paid platforms have free courses that are available, but there are always limitations on the content, encouraging you to purchase a subscription. Paid services often have free trials and specials. However, be careful as they can be expensive. So make sure this style of learning works for you before you invest. An easy way to navigate the many different options is with hacker.io, who aggregate details about online programming courses and tutorials, and then people review them and vote on the best. It's great because you can easily filter content that is freely available. As well as hacker.io, coding communities on Reddit and GitHub have some great recommendations. You should also look at the e-resources available through your local library, as paid platforms like LinkedIn Learning, lynda.com, and edX can be accessed for free with some library memberships. Videos and online learning aren't everyone's preference though. Books are another great resource, whether you just want to look something up or whether you're using it as a guide to follow along. There are a number of books and ebooks available in the State Library's collection. The easiest way to find them is head to the library's catalogue and search for the coding language that you're interested in. If you're wanting to just look at ebooks, then you can easily just select online items from the filter list on the right-hand side, and then your results will be filtered to those that are available online. Again, it's worth looking at what's available in your local library because they're also likely to have some really good titles. There are a number of publishers like O'Reilly Media that produce a wide variety of ebooks and videos that are suitable for beginners. You can purchase them or individually, or if you're at a university, many uni libraries will have a subscription you can access. The coding community is generous. There is lots you can access for free. GitHub is primarily a repository where people store and collaborate on coding projects, but it also has some valuable lists of resources and tutorials for beginner coders. Many coding courses will also store their practice code and examples on GitHub, so you're likely to encounter it at some point. The language and jargon can be intimidating when you first encounter it, but GitHub has some helpful guides that make it more accessible. It's worth wrapping your head around, as there's some really valuable resources here. Reddit has a comprehensive learning to program community, known as a subreddit, as well as subreddits around specific coding languages. The FAQs and wiki pages have lots of great resources, like recommendations around free online books or online courses and other suggestions, and people post problems and review and recommend other resources. I tend to just use the lists and the wikis. Similar to Reddit are question and answer websites, where communities of programmers post questions and then other programmers answer them. A popular example is Stack Overflow. Until you get your head around some code, Stack Overflow and other websites like this can be a little bit to take in, but they're a great place to quickly get an answer. The easiest way to find these sites is just by putting your question straight into Google. Many of them will pop up. Within your area of interest, there are likely to be a community sharing ideas. An example in my area of interest is the Programming Historian, which is an amazing resource. You can freely access peer-reviewed tutorials about the application of coding in history and the humanities. There are also groups who support coding and run workshops specific to different industries or disciplines. Library Carpentry is a global community of volunteers who develop and run workshops around software and data skills for people working in libraries. Keep an eye out in your industry for similar groups. Your first project will get you started, but as you progress along your coding journey, keep an eye out for other projects that excite and inspire you. I follow the work of Tim Sherratt, who's a historian and a hacker and an amazing advocate for the creative possibilities of coding within cultural collections. There are many generous people like Tim who share their projects and their code, letting others play, adopt, adapt, and reuse what they have created. I hope this was a valuable insight into some of the resources that are out there available for people learning to code. And I hope that you have an exciting and interesting journey as you dive into the world of coding. Thanks.